Hello, and welcome back to the deep dive here on Westferry Times. Today, we're going to be looking into something, well, frankly, quite disturbing, this growing trend of hidden camera voyeurism. It just seems to be popping up more and more, and it's deeply unsettling.
It really is. It's a serious issue and something that definitely needs more attention, more understanding.
Absolutely. And to help us navigate this, we're very lucky to have Dr. James Carter with us today. He's a criminologist specializing in digital privacy and surveillance crimes. Thanks so much for joining us.
Glad to be here. It's an important conversation, definitely.
So maybe let's start at the beginning. For anyone listening who isn't totally sure what this involves, could you sort of break down what hidden camera voyeurism actually is?
Sure. So basically, we're talking about secretly recording people
Yeah.
without their consent, obviously. And critically, it happens in places where you'd expect privacy, think bathrooms, bedrooms, changing rooms, that kind of thing. The key thing is the cameras are hidden. They're often disguised, as everyday items. Smoke detectors, chargers, clocks.
Right, so you might not even realize it's there. It could just look like a normal object.
Exactly. That's what makes it so insidious.
And it feels like these sorts of devices are just everywhere now, so easy to get hold of.
That's definitely a huge factor. The technology has become much cheaper, much smaller, much more accessible.
Mhm.
So the barrier for someone wanting to do this, unfortunately, is much lower than it used to be.
That's a really worrying thought. Now, we're hearing reports, seeing headlines that suggest these incidents are really on the rise. Is that actually borne out by the data?
Yes, unfortunately, it is. Just to give you an example, in the UK, reports went up by something like 24% in 2024 alone.
24% in 1 year. Wow.
Yeah, it's a significant jump. And it seems to be driven by a couple of things we've touched on: the easy availability of the tech, for one,
Mm.
but also the increase in mixed-sex facilities in some public places might be creating more, well, opportunities for offenders.
That's quite alarming. Are there any sort of specific cases that really highlight how serious this is?
There are, sadly. One case that comes to mind is Rob Holden. He was a former counselor, actually, in West Yorkshire. It turned out he'd been secretly filming tenants in properties he owned for over 14 years.
14 years.
14 years. Using cameras hidden in everyday objects. It was only when one tenant found a device that the whole thing came to light. He was eventually convicted on, multiple counts. It just shows the length people will go to and the incredible breach of trust.
That's just staggering. 14 years undetected. It really makes you wonder, how does the law actually deal with this? Are the current laws enough?
That's a really good question. We do have the Voyeurism Act from 2019, which was mainly brought in to tackle upskirting.
Mm.
And while that helps, it doesn't fully cover all aspects of hidden camera voyeurism, especially the installation part. So there's actually proposed legislation in the UK right now. The idea is to make it illegal just to install a hidden camera for voyeuristic reasons, even if no images are ever recorded. That would be a big step.
Okay, so making the act of setting it up illegal in itself, that sounds sensible. But even with stronger laws, I imagine enforcement must be incredibly difficult. I mean, how do you even find these things?
You've hit the nail on the head. Detection is often just down to luck, really. Someone noticing something odd. And the other problem is victims might not know they've been recorded for months or even years, like in the Holden case.
Huh.
That huge delay makes investigating, gathering evidence, really, really tough.
Yeah, I can see that. And just the thought of being watched without knowing, it must have a devastating impact on people. What does that do to someone psychologically?
Oh, the impact is profound. It's deeply traumatic. We see victims experiencing severe anxiety, depression, a constant feeling of being unsafe, violated. And when the person who did it is someone they knew, someone they trusted, like a landlord or even a partner or family member,
Oh, gosh.
that betrayal just adds a whole other layer of trauma. It can shatter their sense of security and trust in people generally.
It sounds absolutely awful. Is there enough support out there for people who go through this?
Well, there are some resources, victim support groups, some charities, but honestly, there needs to be more, much more comprehensive support. Things like specialized counseling for this specific kind of trauma, easier access to legal advice.
Hmm.
It's often lacking. And just raising awareness that help is available is also key.
Definitely sounds like an area needing more focus. Okay, so let's shift slightly. What can people actually do? Are there practical steps we can take to protect ourselves?
Vigilance is really important. Just being aware of your surroundings in private spaces. Look for things that seem out of place. An object positioned strangely, maybe a tiny lens or hole where there shouldn't be one.
Like that smoke detector that looks a bit weird, or a clock radio pointed directly at the bed.
Exactly. Trust your instincts if something feels off. And Another option is using hidden camera detectors.
Detectors. Right, I've sort of heard of those. Do they actually work? What should people look for?
They can be helpful, yes. There are different types. Some look for radio frequency signals that wireless cameras might emit. Others use infrared light to spot camera lenses which reflect the light back. You can find devices often called things like anti-spy signal scanners. It's worth doing a bit of research, reading reviews. They aren't foolproof, mind you, but they can add a layer of security, or at least peace of mind.
That's good practical advice. Beyond what individuals can do, though, it feels like broader awareness must be crucial too.
Oh, absolutely. Public awareness campaigns, education, they're vital. If more people know what to look for, how these things happen, and importantly, how to report it if they suspect something, that empowers everyone, makes it riskier for offenders, and hopefully acts as a deterrent. Plus, it helps reduce the stigma for victims, encouraging them to seek help.
So, as we start to wrap up, what's the main takeaway you'd want our listeners to have on this? Your final thoughts.
I think the main thing is to recognize hidden camera voyeurism for what it is, a serious violation of privacy and trust. It's not trivial. We need society to understand its severity, to properly support those affected by it, and we need a combined effort. Better laws, yes, but also more public awareness and just, everyday vigilance from all of us. It takes everyone working together.
That's a powerful closing thought. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and shedding light on such a difficult topic today. It's been incredibly valuable. And for everyone listening, if you do suspect you might have been targeted by something like this, please, please contact your local police. There are also victim support organizations out there that can help. Please reach out. Thank you again for joining us for this deep dive on Westferry Times. Stay safe out there and stay informed.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks to all of you for tuning in to the deep dive on Westferry Times. We really appreciate your time. Until next time, goodbye.